This is Ivy Unleashed, a Gold Ivy production. Diana, you are full of information. I feel like we could keep sitting here for 2 more hours, and we do have a lot more questions, actually, because we did ask the listeners and followers if they had questions for you, and they also have questions for you. So we're going to get to some of those. The first one is, what are the best clean products that you've found? And also, how do you define what's clean?
That's a hard one. I think most people are familiar with Beauty Counter. They have their list. I don't even remember what they call it, but it's their list of like all the ingredients that they don't have. Mm-hmm. I don't really know of very many. Actually, I don't know of any professional lines that are free of every single ingredient on that list. You kind of have to pick and choose, I would say. I am a very natural person. I'm trying to heal my body from the inside out, but at the same time, I want results. So I chose to work with a line called Lyra Clinical in my studio, and I'm bringing on some Skin Better too, the line that I mentioned earlier. And there are some ingredients that are on those lists, but they're not used in every single product, and they might be used to enhance the effectiveness or stabilize the product. So you kind of just have to decide, is it more important for a product to be as clean as possible to me, or for me to get the best results? And you can kind of meet in the middle. Because I think that like the line Skin Better is, they've got some of the most advanced technology that I've come across, and they consider themselves like being the closest to organic as possible, but being as the most effective as possible.
Okay.
Lyra Clinical is also very clean. They kind of tout the same thing. And Eminence is an organic line that's used by professionals a lot. I have worked with the line. I think I should say I'm more of a clinical technician, and I worked in a spa when I used Eminence. I'm not trying to bash Eminence. I think that it's a great line. It definitely smells good. It feels good. It's an experiential line. But when you're using organic product, you can only get so far. So, I mean, I would say if organic is really important to you, that would probably be a really good line, because I do think you're going to get better results with Eminence versus Beauty Counter. But there are options that are on the cleaner side, but not maybe perfect.
Okay.
I like it. That's a good answer. Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question. Lymph drainage pathway opening recommendations.
So if you're going to do any sort of lymphatic drainage, I really only do it on the face. Mm-hmm. You can do it on the whole body, but you have to open the channels first. So you would like apply gentle pressure, just kind of light manipulation on your neck. You kind of go up and down your neck towards your clavicle. And there is a pathway that you need to follow. You go basically from your chin, you start at the top of your ear, and you do very light pumping. So your lymph channels are like the size of a strand of hair. Mm-hmm. They're super close to the surface of the skin. So really light pressure is all that's needed. Mm-hmm. You mentioned gua sha. People can use that as a tool. You can buy little like lymphatic drainage suction tools on Amazon, or you can just use your fingers. So you just do light pumping, like 3 pumps. And so you would start at the top of your ear, do 3 pumps, come down to your bottom earlobe, 3 pumps, and then behind your ear, 3 pumps. And then everything has to drain down your neck. You're trying to get it to drain like down towards your armpits. Mm-hmm.
And what's the importance of that?
Draining towards your armpits. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the route it needs to go to get out of your body.
Okay.
But then when you're we talked about dry brushing earlier, you brush up when you're doing your body.
Why is that?
You're going towards like the heart and the armpit. So if you're doing your arms, you're coming up your arms. If you're doing your chest, you go down towards the heart. So basically it stops at the chest where you're going down. Everywhere else is up.
And what benefits does it bring to open up these pathways? I guess that's my question.
If you don't open up the pathways, you get the lymph moving, but it doesn't drain effectively.
And it's important to drain your lymph because that's your detoxification center. Mm-hmm. You're getting all of the toxins out of you by doing that.
I have the hydrofacial machine. The hydrofacial has a lymphatic modality on it. It just uses like this glass probe that uses a very light suction. So it is manual, but not with my fingers. And it is like, I think what most people are familiar with is that it's detoxifying, but it also, when you have lymph, because about 30% of your lymph system is in your face. Mm-hmm. And so when you get stagnant lymph in your face, it can make you puffy. And when you start to drain that lymph, you depuff, which then lifts the skin. So I will show people after I've done one side of the face and one cheekbone, the cheekbone on the side that I've done will be higher than the other one.
Oh my gosh. I want to do this so bad. I know I need to do this. My face is puffy right now.
But you can do it at home. I mean, everyone can buy gua sha tools. Everyone's got fingers, or you can buy those little facial cupping is what it's called.
Yeah. And I've seen people do it so many different ways. So I guess I'm curious because you said the 2 fingers and like you pump. And so you just press, but the gua sha tool is like a whole event.
Yeah. So I'm not trained on gua sha.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I would assume you have to do like the pumping to open up the channels on your neck. But as far as if I said 2 fingers, I misspoke. 1 finger.
1 finger. Okay.
Yeah. You could use 2 fingers, but you don't need to. But I've had gua sha done and there was no pumping. So I don't know. I can't speak to that. I don't know how that works. But
we got to find the gua sha expert.
Just your neck, rubbing it down, you said lightly, not the pumping. The rubbing the neck down.
You're kind of doing like gentle pumping motions down the neck for just like a couple minutes before you start.
Okay. And then 1 finger on each side.
It basically goes like from, you start at your ear, top of your ear, go down to the bottom earlobe, behind the ear, down your neck, and then you go, and you do each section 3 times. And then you go from your chin to your earlobe down. And there's basically like 3, well, maybe 5 lines that you do from your chin up to the bottom of your nose. When you get to the bottom of your nose, so when you're doing the whole bottom part of your face, you go to your earlobe, behind the ear and down. When you're doing like from the bottom of the nose all the way up to the inner corner of the eye, you have to go to the top of the ear, then to the bottom earlobe, and then behind the earlobe and down. And then you do your forehead. Come down your temples, top of the ear, pump, bottom earlobe, pump, behind the ear, pump, down, and you do 2 pathways on your forehead.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll get some.
It goes fast. It sounds like a lot, but it goes fast.
Yeah. And once you know like the right direction, we'll get some things up on social media to help.
Yeah. We'll get like a video we found approved by you, and then we'll put it in our blog. All right. Next question. Does collagen powder actually do anything for your skin?
It doesn't make you produce your own collagen, if that's what the question is getting to. I would say that there's arguments out there for both sides, but you have to stimulate your own collagen production by creating a wound to the skin. So things like microneedling, chemical peels, there are agents and there's different types of collagen. People don't realize that. Like, we don't want the type of collagen that you find in a scar. There's products that increase collagen production, but it's not going to be as dramatic of a change as doing more invasive treatment. So collagen production or collagen powders or supplements have their place. I'm not saying they're not beneficial for the body, but they don't make you produce your own collagen.
Okay.
Okay. All right. This question's about dark circles. How do we lessen them or preserve that area with age?
That's one of the hardest things to treat. First 2 questions I ask people when they tell me that's their concern is this something that runs in your family? Because if it's genetic, you're SOL. I honestly tell people to find a good eye concealer. It's not that there's nothing you can do about it, but you are probably going to need to get some form of injectable done. I am not aware of any products that can turn dark circles around.
So stop wasting your money if you're buying them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can maybe soften it a little bit, but you're not going to get it to go away. You're not going to be happy with the results that you're getting from products, like even professional products. I haven't seen anything that has blown me away. The second question I ask is, what's your sleep like? I often get, well, I have a 1-year-old. Well, there you go. Like once your baby starts sleeping through the night, your dark circles are going to go away. Another thing that can happen for some people is blood will kind of pool under the eye area. Not everyone wants to do this, but if they sell these little stilts you can put under the feet of your bed, and you can put them under the top two, like the head of the bed, and sleep at a little bit of an angle. So it helps kind of drain things while you're sleeping.
Okay.
Interesting.
I thought you were going to say like put them in your eyes. And
And then with there's puffiness too, like salt intake and drinking water. So managing your salt intake and drinking water. I know that wasn't the question.
What does alcohol do to your skin?
Dehydrates you, and I mean it.
You get less quality sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Nothing good. Yeah.
Oh.
All right. That wasn't one of the questions. That was just one of mine. All right, 2 more. Thoughts on Botox and filler, and what alternatives are there?
Well, Botox is used as like a general term. Neurotoxin is the official term for that category of type of product, but pretty much everyone knows the term Botox. Gwyneth Paltrow is the spokeswoman for a product called Xeomin. Works very similar to Botox it's a much cleaner product. It doesn't have as many fillers in it. So I don't know how long it's been around, but I just became aware of it just in the last couple of years. That's gaining popularity pretty quickly. I don't know. I mean, earlier in my career, when I was in my 20s, I was like, I'm never getting Botox. I'm never getting fillers. Like, why would you put those things in your body? And then my face started showing my age, and I was working in a med spa. So I tried them, and I honestly just think it's a personal thing. Like I've said, I'm a very clean person, but I make the choice to do those things because they make me feel better about myself. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what other people think. It's about how you feel about the things that you're putting in your body and how you feel about yourself. So filler, yes, it's a synthetic product, but to my knowledge, most of them are forms of hyaluronic acid, which is something that our body actually makes. So it's maybe more easily recognized. Botox, the actual brand Botox, has been around for years, and they use it in babies for certain conditions. Like, is it clean? Maybe not, but is there harm that can come from it? Not that I'm aware of.
Besides like a droopy eye or something.
As long as you have a trained professional that knows what they're doing.
Do you do Botox at your clinic?
I don't.
You don't? Okay.
Nope. In the state of Minnesota, estheticians can do injections if they have a medical director, but you will never find me doing that.
Question from a listener, which is me, that goes in here is, where do you get your like skincare advice from? Like, where do you trust? Like, is there a site we can go to, and what do you lean on for advice?
This is another tricky one because there's so many resources out there, but I think like one of the hardest things for an esthetician to hear is like, oh, I saw this on Instagram, or I saw this on TikTok, and it was an influencer. Like, okay, what the most important thing is the education that person has, the training that they have. Like, just because they have 100,000 followers doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. Like, if you can find an esthetician that will give you a complimentary consultation, that's what you should do. If you can't, go to a Sephora or an Ulta, tell them you're looking for, if you can afford it, professional grade products, or at least the pH balance cleanser. Talk to someone that has a license that can give you good information. Some technicians might even, like if you DM them on social media, might be willing to give you some information.
Good
All
to
right,
know.
and last question. What are your thoughts on products being created equal? So like Beauty Counter versus Dime versus Target products.
I'm so glad somebody asked this because this is something I talk about with every single new client. So, I mean, we were talking about supplements earlier. Like, it applies to everything. You pay for what you get. So what it boils down to is the FDA regulates what goes in over-the-counter products. They're as a protection measure for the general public. They don't want someone to go up and buy a bottle of something that's going to have an adverse effect. So they can say, okay, for example, like let's say they say there's hyaluronic acid in our product. Well, they could have a big basin of all their ingredients and put 1 drop of hyaluronic acid in there. There's no regulations around, even in professional skincare, there's no regulations in claims that are made. When you see advertising for over-the-counter products, I don't trust anything that's put out there because they can really, there's no ramification for false information. The whole apples to apples things I was saying earlier with like a bottle of cleanser, let's say it's 1 ounce cleanser from Target, you're going to have probably like 1/3 of that is going to be active ingredients and 2/3 of it is going to be water, fillers, synthetic fragrances, colors, all kinds of stuff that doesn't benefit your skin and probably actually can cause irritation for a lot of people versus a professional product. So there's kind of a variable or a ladder of how products are like potency, I would say, in professional products. So I say professional, and that means really like if you go to a spa and get a treatment done, Aveda, Eminence, which I talked about earlier, they're much higher quality and more potent than what you buy at the store. But then you go into those, what I was saying earlier, quote unquote, medical and pharmaceutical grade. It just pertains to the quality of the ingredient and the amount of the active ingredients that are going in there and the technology. So really that is one of the biggest things is over-the-counter products. They're putting all their money into their marketing, their packaging, and they're using buzzwords. Like they're just creating products with current trends to try and get you to buy it. Whereas when you jump into the professional category, it varies from like professional to the higher up, like more potent products as far as like whether actual clinical trials are done, but they'll do studies. That's where they spend their money. Is not like, yes, they want their packaging to look appealing and yes, they have to do marketing, but they put most of their money into their technology and formulation. So
they get results.
Yes. So just because a product says it has vitamin C in it doesn't mean it's actually active or stable. And if it's not stable, it becomes oxidized and then it's an oxidant, not an antioxidant. So it's damaging your skin. So it's all about formulation. So it's super hard because there's certain things over the counter that would be, not necessarily harmful. They're not going to probably get you the skin of your dreams, but it's hard to know because there's so many things out there. I would say as far as like active products go, serums, retinols, I'm wary of those as a professional for over the counter. Like that is where if you have to pick and choose, like get your pH balance cleanser and then spend your money on your serums if you can.
Gosh, that was so good. Andrew and I have been wanting to talk about this topic for the longest time, and we were waiting for the perfect guest. And you, all right, we are so grateful. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
So much. I mean, we still have a million questions, and I'm sure people listening do too. And so if they want to follow you, get connected, where can they find you?
The name of my business is Glow Skin and Brow. It's GLO. So you can find me on Instagram at Glow Skin and Brow. It's all lowercase, the letter or the word and then on Facebook, it's the symbol and then my website is glowskinandbrow.com with the word and. So GLO. SKINANDBROW.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll plug all that in our blog too.